Yes, I know the Sixers have been playing terrible, Embiid sucks, Embiid is the worst MVP ever. We've heard it all before. Bold take, the Sixers will go on a winning streak because of What's good, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of Wrong vs. Right. I'm your host, Jay. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe below, hit that button. Today we're talking about the 76ers. They've been playing terrible basketball. We all know this. They're 2-12 on the season and last in the Eastern Conference. They just lost to the Memphis Grizzlies without Ja Morant. So let's start by stating the obvious. The Sixers can't stay healthy. Between Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Paul George, they've all sustained injuries here and there. Embiid's knee, Paul George's knee, Tyrese Maxey's hamstring. I mean, they can't catch a break. After the Sixers lost to the Heat, where they had a 19-point lead at one point, the team had a meeting internally. And Tyrese Maxey confronted Embiid about being late to team activities, practices, so on and so forth. Now, I know a lot of people like to run with the idea, oh, there's so much drama going on with the locker room. This is a great sign for the locker room. This shows a willingness for a guy to step up to the quote-unquote best player on the team. You gotta think, some people might be afraid to step up to Joel Embiid and tell him the truth. He's a former MVP, scoring champ, 7 foot tall for crying out loud. It takes a lot of heart to step up to a guy like that. But Maxey, he has the heart to do that. So this brings me to point number one. The Sixers will go on a winning streak because of Tyrese Maxey's leadership. It's apparent, as great as the talent as Joel Embiid is, he's not a vocal leader. He's not a guy to galvanize his troops through tough times. It's just not his personality, from what it seems like. Paul George is a great player, but we've yet to see that kind of leadership since really his Indiana days where they went against the Heat. Tyrese Maxey at 24 years old, he's assumed a leadership role on this team, and they desperately need it. When your record is 2-12, you need a leader. So this brings me to point number two on why I think the Sixers still have hope. The first couple games for Joel Embiid, he was shooting 26% from the field, which in basketball terms is god-awful, is terrible. That means he was only making 1 out of every 4 shots he was taking. The last game against the Grizzlies, Embiid had 35 points and 11 boards. But shh, don't tell anybody. It's not good to say anything positive about Joel Embiid, all right?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
If you watch Joel Embiid, you know he establishes his rhythm from the free throw line. He's a free throw merchant. All he does is flop. All he does is fake fouls. Guess what? The entire NBA does that. Jalen Brunson, Ja Morant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, everyone does that. Pay attention. So I don't want to hear about this flopping stuff. Everyone flops in the NBA. It's 2024. Wake up. And if it sounds like I'm biased, it's because I am. I'm a Sixers fan for those who don't know. But guess what? If I was a Knicks fan and I saw Jalen Brunson doing this flop act, I would be cool with it too, as long as it gets me points. But back to the point about Embiid, that shows me that he's getting back to somewhat of his normal self in terms of getting to the line, getting in a rhythm at the free throw line, getting some baskets. He had a really good game last game against the Grizzlies. But don't get it twisted, he's definitely still hurt. And then side note, we do have to talk about Paul George, who's been underperforming so far. I think even he would tell you that. And compound that with the fact that he just got another injury on the same exact knee, another hyperextended knee. We just learned from Shams that he'll be out at least 2 games. Hopefully he can get back soon. But Paul George has got to play better, and I think he will. If you look at his stats, he's shooting way under his career averages. You got to think that he's going to shoot a lot better. And this brings me to point number 3. I call him 2 days into college, the TikToker. Jared McCain has been hooping.
He's into college and I am 3 lectures behind. There's this guy, let's name him.
Clearly the steal of the draft and looking like the best player from the draft. The last 5 or 6 games, he scored at least 20 points. So he's letting it fly and it's going in. We can talk about the nails, we can talk about the dancing. The dude is hooping and we can't take that away from him. And he's established himself as a starter on this team. The Sixers are the 2nd oldest team in the league, so to have a young guy step up like this is huge. Jared McCain is somebody that you have to account for on the scouting report now. You can't leave him. If you leave him, it's cash. What's also underrated about Jared McCain is his ability to score off the dribble and to make plays for others. He came into the league just as a shooter, like that was his thing, right? But he's showing that he can create off the dribble. So when you have guys double teaming on somebody like Embiid, he can kick it out to Jared McCain, the guy closes out, Jared McCain can drive to the basket, score, or make a play for somebody else. McCain has really been the only bright spot on the court for the Sixers this season. Jared McCain has given the Sixers fan base a sense of hope and a sense of, all right, you know, maybe we're not doomed after all. So just to recap, we have Tyrese Maxey's leadership, we have Embiid coming back to form, we have Jared McCain emerging as a legitimate scoring option. This all leads me to my bold takes for the Sixers this season. The Sixers will make the playoffs, Jared McCain will win Rookie of the Year, and Tyrese Maxey will lead the Sixers on a winning streak beginning tonight against the Brooklyn Nets at home in South Philly at the Wells Fargo Center. Hey, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Everybody can't be wrong, everybody can't be right. All right, I'm out.